Global collapse has arrived. Climate disasters and bizarre plagues have turned the world into a graveyard. Humanity teeters on the edge of extinction. In this hell, money is now worthless scraps of paper. Sensing the coming doom, Xiao Li spent his life savings on every scrap of survival gear. While speeding home, a massive, mutated beast suddenly lunged directly into his path. A brutal collision. Li hoped for fresh meat, but the creature's death was far from normal. The beast rose like an undead nightmare, its eyes glowing with a demonic, hollow hunger. Terrified, Li fled home to his younger sister and their 2 loyal guardian dogs. They hurried to secure the supplies, unaware that the world they knew had already ended. In the barn, their livestock turned murderous. Then, the radio broadcast a final, chilling warning. A total eclipse was beginning, a dark omen signaling the true start of the great catastrophe. Naive to the looming horror, Li focused on filling his stomach before the sky shattered. The countdown reached 0. His sister pointed a trembling finger toward the terrifying horizon. The moon devoured the sun, plunging the land into a cold and suffocating abyss. Darkness swallowed the earth. The light of civilization was extinguished in a single moment. The power grid failed. Midsummer heat vanished, replaced by an unnatural, bone-chilling glacial frost. Little Black sensed the shifting aura and howled. Then, eerie white flakes began to fall. Snow in the peak of summer? Li threw open the door to witness the impossible nightmare. He knew the end was coming, but no one expected the apocalypse to strike this fast. Li rushed back to his car to salvage food, his loyal dog trailing through the blizzard. The wind howled with fury, as a monstrous storm buried the world in mere minutes. Is this a dream? As confusion set in, Little Black snarled at a predator in the dark. The dog lunged. He wasn't attacking his master, but the mutated beast stalking behind him. The family cow had turned into a bloodthirsty monster. Little Black saved Li from certain death. Li fell to the frozen earth, trembling. The biting cold was far too real for a dream. Despite the size difference, the brave dog stood his ground against the massive, zombified titan. The realization hit like a hammer. The end is here. Li grabbed his hunting bow to fight, but the undead beast was too powerful, tossing the loyal dog aside like a broken doll. Seeing his friend hurt, Li felt a surge of rage. Suddenly, the system interface awakened. Is this a skill? Li gasped as a holographic screen flickered before his eyes. 1 arrow became 5. A barrage of light-infused bolts erupted, tearing through the freezing air. Like guided missiles, the arrows found their mark. Li had awakened a legendary hidden power. However, the zombie virus held total control. The beast charged, even with its skull shattered. It was relentless. Li reached for another shot, but his quiver had run completely dry. The system flashed a red warning. Ammo 0. 3 zombie entities detected in the vicinity. Before he could react, the beast slammed into his chest, sending him sprawling into the snow. Little Black scrambled to his side, whimpering as the monster loomed over his fallen master. The infected cow prepared for the final strike, its milky eyes fixed on its prey. Desperate, the dog pulled at Li's clothes, begging him to stand and face the nightmare. Panic set in. If the animals outside were turning, what about the one inside the house? His fears were realized. Little White had also turned feral, cornering his terrified sister. Little Ham wept in the corner, unable to understand why her beloved pet wanted her dead. The creature bared its rotting fangs, ready to tear into the young girl's throat. Just as it lunged, Li burst through the door like lightning, delivering a crushing, divine kick. He gathered his trembling sister into his arms. She was alive, but their sanctuary was gone. This home was now a death trap. They had to flee into the frozen, apocalyptic void. Just as he reached the warehouse, that cursed system flickered before his eyes. Was this a hallucination? Li scanned the interface intensely. Ammo count, 0. 4 infected beasts detected in the immediate vicinity. Without a word, he shoved his sister inside the warehouse for safety. But the monster count suddenly spiked, from 4 to 5. Before he could react, his dog, Whitey, lunged at him with mindless, rabid fury. Pain surged through Li as he was forced back. Suddenly, Blackie, seemingly uninfected, saw his master in peril. The loyal dog dove in to save him. Despite being wounded, there was 0 time for rest. Gritting his teeth against the agony, Li scrambled for a weapon. Then, an infected bull appeared. The beast radiated pure killing intent, locking onto its prey. Luckily, Li finally grabbed a wood-cutting axe. With steel in hand, our protagonist regained his confidence. He stood his ground, taunting the demonic bull. The beast didn't hesitate. It lowered its razor-sharp horns and charged. One wrong move meant instant death. Li dodged with hairbreadth precision. The bull's massive momentum sent its horns deep into a tree. It was stuck. Seizing the opening, Lee raised his axe high, ready for a devastating finishing blow. But before he could strike, Whitey lunged again, sinking teeth into his neck. Death's door swung wide. He desperately called for Blackie, but the dog's eyes were vacant. The infection had claimed him too. As the virus surged and he spat blood, Lee thought it was the end. Then, the system flashed. Apocalypse survival game initiated. Player, Lee registration confirmed. The nightmare was just beginning. Starting location, Level 1, Farm. First skill unlocked, the Eyes of Truth. The path to power opened. Upgrade requirement, 8 million points. As the notification faded, Lee's eyes snapped open in shock. He was alive. Every wound from the brutal struggle had vanished as if they were never there. No scars, no pain, just an eerie silence. What kind of insane power had just saved him? Before he could find answers, a gruesome sight met his eyes. A scene straight out of horror. That crazed bull was literally split in half. Whitey lay nearby, barely clinging to a flickering life. Welcome to the apocalypse. The system chimed again. His player status was now fully synchronized. A chilling realization hit him. He was the one who had slaughtered the beast during his blackout. Stunned by his own hidden strength, Lee slumped to the ground. What was he supposed to do? As uncertainty loomed, new prompts appeared. Shelter linked. Store activated. Newbie rewards granted. The game was set. It was time to explore the interface and claim his destiny as a survivor. Every game has a quest, and Lee knew he had to play along to stay alive. He braced himself and read, Destruction Season. Wave 1 has arrived. The world was officially ending. Catastrophes were imminent. His only hope? Turning his humble shelter into an impregnable fortress. The primary mission. Survive the end of days and build the world's strongest stronghold. This was only stage 1, yet Lee was already sweating. The scale of disaster was unimaginable. With the soil already poisoned and toxic, the future looked grim. This game was on nightmare mode. Using his new system knowledge, he examined Whitey. The dog had mutated from consuming radioactive food, but he couldn't kill his childhood companion. He muzzled the beast, deciding to bring it along. He rushed back into the warehouse to find his sister, searching frantically through the hay and basement. Finally, he spotted her legs behind a wooden crate. She was motionless. Panic gripped his heart. He screamed her name, lunging forward to check her vitals. Relief washed over him. She was breathing. Status, Lee Ham, unconscious due to extreme terror. The system provided a quick diagnostic. When she finally woke, Lee asked why she hadn't prepared her bed. She looked at him dazed. There was a flash of light. And then I was just in your arms, she whispered softly. Knowing the real work was ahead, Lee told her to rest while he handled the outside world. Lee Ham drifted back to sleep, safe for now. Lee stepped out to face the new reality. The mutated beasts had vanished and the weather had calmed. But the silence felt like a trap. He opened the system menu one more time, but what appeared before him was, no rare items at all? Lee sighed in frustration. Is this game just a pay-to-win trap? Disappointment turned to curiosity. Hidden in a secret slot, he discovered a mysterious seed. Can be farmed in mutated soil? Incredible. But the system's price was pure insanity. The cost was astronomical. Where would he even find this legendary apocalypse currency? After securing little by, Lee locked himself away. He had to master this hellish survival system. The solar eclipse changed everything. Civilization collapsed as beasts turned into bloodthirsty monsters. The earth died. No crops could grow. Humanity's flame was flickering toward extinction. Lee felt the weight of destiny, the chosen one. But how could he fund his evolution? With monsters roaming the globe, farming seemed secondary. I'll become the world's ultimate hero. A fire ignited within his soul. Coldly, Lee opened his vault to reveal a hidden arsenal. He handpicked his deadliest gear. The true battle for survival was finally about to begin, guns loaded. Heart steeled, he gave his sister a satellite phone. Call me, no matter what. With her safety guaranteed, the silent warrior stepped out into the dying world. He roared down the highway, a lone hero's silhouette against the backdrop of the apocalypse. A horde of beasts pursued his truck. Souls lost to madness, they hungered for his living flesh. Confident and armed, Lee gripped the wheel. Any monster that approached would face his lead. Suddenly, a military blockade. An armored vehicle swerved, cutting off his only escape route. A soldier climbed atop the roof. A massive Gatling gun was aimed directly at Lee's chest. Not worth a death sentence. He slammed the brakes and raised his hands in surrender. The Security Bureau? Lee recognized the badge. This wasn't just a riot, it was the end. Total anarchy, he muttered. Why block the road now when the world is already burning? It's a death zone out there, the soldier warned. Go back and hide in your basement, Lee spun a clever lie. We're out of food, officer. My sister is starving at home. The soldier pointed toward the depot. The Federal Reserve is ahead. Get your essentials there. They parted ways, one to guard, one to survive. Lee looked at the crimson sky. Fighters and helicopters swarmed above. The apocalypse was no longer a nightmare, it was reality. Even in this hell, a memory haunted him. He had to check on his ex-lover. He detoured through the ruins. The city was a graveyard of smoke and shattered glass. Lawlessness ruled the streets. Looting and violence spread like a plague beyond anyone's control. It wasn't just mutations. Humans were collapsing, their lungs failing in the tainted air. The medical system vanished instantly. Mourning and death echoed through the silent, gray streets. Witnessing the tragedy, Lee could only sigh. He felt so small against the tide of fate. Could he really protect his sister? The game of survival had only just begun. Near the government depot, megaphones screamed for order. Line up, no hoarding allowed. But in the face of death, no one listened. Laws were replaced by primal survival instinct. The crowd was a sea of desperation. People fought like demons over a few scraps of food. Blood was spilled for a few leaves. In another corner, a mother wept in total silence. Robbed of her last coin, she fed her daughter with nothing but hollow hope. Lee watched the world rot. He couldn't save everyone. He drove on toward his past. He reached her alleyway. Suddenly, a beaten-up car swerved to block his path. A man with a sinister gaze stepped out. He tapped the glass, looking for his next victim. He offered a bunch of greens. Fresh vegetables, kid. A trap for the desperate and naive. Lee knew they were radioactive. Eat one first, he challenged. Then I'll buy the whole lot. The man's smile faltered. I'm just a salesman. Lee's patience was finally gone. His eyes turned ice cold. Get lost. He pressed a gun barrel against the man's forehead. In this lawless apocalypse, another nameless corpse on the road means absolutely nothing. Realizing he poked the wrong tiger, the old bully flees like a terrified coward. Ignoring the local trash, our hero rushes toward his lover's home in a panic. Silence answers his frantic knocks. He instinctively grabs the key hidden under the mat. He storms inside, shouting her name, but only an eerie emptiness greets his ears. The room is a total wreck. His ex was always neat, making this chaos suspicious. Did she leave with someone else? Or is something far more sinister happening here? He spots a half-finished pill bottle on the table and examines it with narrow eyes. It's from a shady pharmaceutical giant. Why on earth would she use this junk? No blood, no struggle. Just a cold room and a key left exactly where it belonged. It feels like a staged scene. Is she hiding, or was she taken by force? With no more clues, he returns home to unlock the secrets of his farm system. He hands the first batch of starter tomato seeds to his sister to begin planting. The system grants him godlike remote control over his entire sanctuary from any distance. Real-time monitoring ensures his shop and resources are safe from Wasteland scavengers at all times. 30 acres of wasteland await. It looks like a dump now, but potential is infinite. Through blood and sweat, the siblings begin carving a kingdom out of the dry dirt. His sister's dedication pays off. Soon, she's shouting about a miracle in the fields. Against all logic, life is blooming in soil choked by lethal, toxic radiation. It's impossible. Seeing those green sprouts in this hellscape feels like a beautiful hallucination. Every single seed has awakened. The wasteland is finally turning into a lush green paradise. The system chimes in. Harvest time is in exactly 48 hours. If he can speed this up, he'll have an endless food factory in no time. He vows to farm his way to the top and protect his sister forever. Clean water is a myth here, leaving his sister worried about the toxic sludge. These are divine seeds. Even radioactive waste acts as the perfect fertilizer for them. 2 days later, the system announces that the special harvest is ready for picking. The vines are heavy with massive, glowing fruit, a literal feast in a starving world. These radiation-proof tomatoes boost physical stats and stay fresh for an entire month. Driven by pure hunger, he takes a massive, unwashed bite of the glowing fruit. Intense heat surges through his veins. All his exhaustion vanishes in an instant. In this dying world, he isn't just eating, he's gaining permanent superhuman power. This is his destiny, to become the ultimate overlord of the great super farm. Every base upgrade and luxury depends entirely on his total hoard of system points. The only way to earn points is by trading his miraculous crops back to the system. The system hungers for everything from exotic vegetables to rare minerals and livestock. Quality is king. Higher tiers of produce unlock the path to legendary, god-tier rewards. From basic radiation-shielding crops to ancient medicine and even super god tiers. Ancient medicine crops are worth a solid 100 points for every single kilogram. God-grade produce is even crazier, yielding a staggering 1,000 points per kilo. But the super god tier? That's a massive 100,000 points for just one bag. With enough points, he can transform this farm into the world's strongest military fortress. If Tier 1 is this powerful, the higher levels will grant him godlike abilities. He checks his high-level garden, expecting legendary herbs, but finds something very strange. Carrots? He was expecting legendary medicine. But these are ancient-grade super carrots. 100% growth efficiency. It purges all toxins and heals even the most impossible, irreversible wounds. With infinite shelf life and divine healing powers, Xiao Li realizes the true value of his harvest. He grins widely. No more sickness or pain. After the first harvest, the main character faces a choice. How much food should he stockpile, and how much should he sell to reinvest in legendary seeds? He sells 200 kilograms of tomatoes, and his points instantly jump to 2,000. A massive gain. System alert. Achievement unlocked. Recycling Master. Your reward is a high-tech, intelligent agricultural robot assistant. Surprised by the bonus reward, Xiao Li is ecstatic. Better rewards mean his future will be unstoppable. He dreams of becoming an apocalypse tycoon. But the robot that emerges is absolutely tiny and pathetic. Is this scrap metal useless? Sensing his doubt, the mini-robot leaps down to show its power. It moves like a master, trimming herbs and organizing them into perfect stacks with incredible lightning speed. Xiao Li realizes its worth. This tiny helper will be his greatest asset in the coming dark days. Watching his sister, he dreams of combat robots. No infected beast will ever threaten his family again. After a week of greens, he craves meat. He pulls a decades-old frozen chicken from the freezer. Meat in the apocalypse? Li Han and their dog stare in pure, wide-eyed disbelief at the feast. A massive chicken is served, and the table is overflowing with food. Their joy is absolutely boundless. The dog, Xiao He, begs frantically. Li Han tears off the biggest drumstick for her loyal friend. Xiao He drools in excitement. But suddenly, Li Han's smile fades as she thinks of their pet. How is Xiao Bai doing? Seeing her sadness, Xiao Li promises he will release him once healed. After the feast, he heads to the warehouse. It is time to check on the mutated cat. Glowing red eyes and pure ferocity greet him. Xiao Bai looks more terrifying than a wild monster. Suddenly, the system blares a warning. An intruder has breached the perimeter. Xiao Li stays ice cold. He activates the surveillance system to observe the threat. On the screen, a desperate old man appears. It is Uncle Nam, his father's old employee. Why would he show up in this living hell? Xiao Li heads out. Seeing him, Nam drops his cigarette, his face a mask of pure desperation. The man is broken, crying as he begs for help. This house was his very last hope. He has begged everywhere for a scrap of food. Xiao Li sees his misery and decides to listen. Nam is starving and has nowhere else to go. He swallowed his pride to ask for help. Xiao Li fears others will find out, but his heart is still human. He decides to show mercy. He hands over a large bag of food and wishes him luck in this crumbling, ruined world. Watching Nam leave, Xiao Li knows that food will only last the old man 3 days. Even with his infinite farm, he must hide his riches. In this world, human hearts are treacherous. He decides to sneak more vegetables to Nam at night. It's a risk, but a necessary one. That night, he and Li Han drive to Nam's house. A secret mission under the cover of darkness. Clutching the bag, Li Han just wants to go home. To her, cartoons are more important than survival. The streets are dead silent at 7 in the evening. No dogs, no cats, only an eerie, cold void. A chill crawls down his spine. Near Nam's house, he tells his sister to stay in the car. He sneaks toward the house and hears agonizing weeping. Nam's son is in a truly critical state. The boy has severe radiation-induced respiratory failure, coughing up blood. Nam is helpless and terrified. Worried for his sister, Xiao Li carries her along. They witness the tragedy from the shadows. Radiation sickness is a death sentence. 90% of those infected never survive this dark plague, but Xiao Li has a divine carrot. The system claims it can cure any disease on the planet. He isn't sure it will work, but he throws the bag through the window, smashing the glass. Nam explodes in rage, cursing the intruder. He grabs a weapon, ready for a bloody fight, but his son points to the bag. Nam freezes, his anger turning to shock as he opens it. He finds fresh food and medicine. Xiao Li watches, praying the man feeds his dying son immediately. Desperate to see if the herb truly worked, Uncle Nam opened the package, his eyes widening in total disbelief. Tucked inside the paper was a single carrot. A cryptic note read, Feed him this if you want him to live. Nam gripped the vegetable, roaring in fury. Damn it. The city's best doctors failed. And you mock me with this? He looked at his dying son, whose breath was fading. Overcome with grief, the old man broke down in tears. Seeing his father's despair, the boy whispered, "There is still hope, father. We have nothing left to lose. Just one bite, please." With no other options, Nam steeled his heart, despite his doubts about this strange cure. He fed the carrot to his son. As the divine essence reached his stomach, a violent reaction suddenly took hold. The boy screamed in agony as toxins were purged from his body, coughing up mouthfuls of black, tainted blood. Slowly, color returned to his pale face. Seeing his son's miraculous recovery, Nam cheered with overwhelming joy and relief. This superfood was real. It could cure anything. Meanwhile, Xiaoli watched from the shadows with a satisfied smile. Suddenly, the lights flickered on. Power was restored. Xiaoli immediately reached for his phone to check on his ex. He dialed her number frantically, praying she was still alive in this hellscape. But his heart sank with every ring. "The subscriber you have dialed is unavailable." The cold, automated voice was the only answer he received that night. Somewhere in the ruins of the city, her phone vibrated endlessly on the cold ground, ignored by its captive owner. She had been taken by scavengers. The ringing phone alerted the thugs that the mobile networks were finally back online. "We can contact the traffickers now," they laughed. "This girl will fetch us enough food to survive for months." The kidnappers sped off toward the trade zone. Unaware, Xiaoli began the drive home to drop off his sister. Li Han praised her brother's legendary skills. "That tiny carrot saved a life. You're like a hero from a story." Despite the looming apocalypse, her innocent laughter filled the car. She began to sing, oblivious to the dangers outside. As they drove past a dark forest, a blurred shadow suddenly leaped from the trees, landing heavily on the roof. The siblings froze in terror. The car groaned under the weight of an unknown predator. Tension filled the cramped cabin. Xiaoli looked up just as a massive, obsidian hand slammed against the glass. The windshield spider webbed under the impact. Two glowing red eyes stared back at him. It was a monstrous, mutated gorilla, transformed by the ravaging zombie virus. The beast was in a bloodthirsty frenzy, hunting for human flesh. Xiaoli knew the car wouldn't hold out for long. "Hold on tight," he yelled, flooring the accelerator. The engine roared as they surged forward, trying to shake the beast. But the mutant ape clung on with supernatural strength. It smashed the glass repeatedly, desperate to reach the prey inside. One more hit and they were dead. In a panic, Xiaoli pulled out his pistol, aiming through the shattered roof. Bang! The gunshot echoed through the night. Startled by the flash, the creature lost its grip and tumbled away. Xiaoli didn't hesitate. He swung the car around and rammed the beast with everything the engine had left. Normally, such an impact would be fatal. But the virus had turned the ape into a relentless, unyielding killing machine. It rose again, clinging to the car like a demon. Furious, Xiaoli stopped and prepared to end this fight. He emptied his magazine into the beast's skull. Only when it stopped moving did he finally dare to step outside. To his shock, he found a serial number branded on the creature. Where did this laboratory monster come from? He remembered the medicine from his ex-girlfriend's office. The pharmaceutical company's headquarters was located just a few miles away. Suspecting a dark conspiracy, he rushed Li Han home and told her to lock every door and stay hidden. Before leaving, Xiaoli checked on Xiaobai in the cellar. The pet was still struggling against the viral infection. Its eyes were crimson, filled with a wild, terrifying hunger. Could the miracle carrot save an animal's soul too? Donning protective gear, he tried to feed the legendary herb to his pet. He prayed for another miracle to happen, but the evolutionary carrot failed. It seemed this divine crop was only meant to enhance and heal human beings. Instead of curing him, the energy made the beast even more violent. Xiaobai snapped his chains with monstrous strength. The mutated dog lunged at his throat. With tears in his eyes, Xiaoli was forced to pull the trigger. Hearing the shot, Li Han ran downstairs in a panic. She found her brother standing over a lifeless, bloody heap. Her face turned pale. Seeing the corpse of her beloved pet, she screamed in agony, blaming him for the tragedy. The sight of the gore was too much for the young girl. Her world went dark as she fainted from shock. Xiaoli caught her, his heart heavy with grief. In this cruel new world, even mercy felt like a sin. He swore a solemn vow to find his sister a whole pack of loyal hounds soon. At dawn, they laid little Bai to rest. Seeing her grief, Xiaoli stayed home to prepare a morning feast. Though the meal was fit for a king, she remained cold, eyes glued to the screen in protest. Duty called, and time was a luxury. Leaving his sister behind, he returned to his farm domain. With his mechanical mini-bots, the labor was effortless. The farm was now evolving faster than ever. Xiao Li merely programmed the system and awaited his bounty. Automated farming was truly a cheat code. Through relentless hard work, he finally accumulated enough points to evolve his shelter to level 2. His primitive tent transformed into a sturdy Kang Trang stronghold, but he had no time to celebrate. A red alert flashed. The sanctuary's defense rating was abysmal, barely enough to stop small pests. Danger was imminent. The system demanded an immediate fortification of his base to survive the coming night. Xiao Li realized his mistake. Before expanding his kingdom, he had to secure the farm's borders first. With low agricultural points, massive expansion would be delayed. Survival was now the only priority. He instantly upgraded the perimeter walls to level 2 and installed a high-tech surveillance radar system. His points were nearly depleted after the frenzy. Building a kingdom required a massive fortune of points. He wanted a real dog for his sister, but the price was astronomical. He was still too poor. Trading his food reserves for credits, he summoned a cybernetic hunting hound to guard his sister's life. For aerial surveillance, he added a mechanical hummingbird to scan the horizon for any approaching threats. Within seconds, the 2 metallic guardians materialized on the farm. No shipping fees, just pure power. To test his new toy, he targeted a falling leaf. He commanded the hummingbird drone to strike. The tiny machine lunged with lethal precision, its internal weaponry slicing the leaf into perfect halves. Next, he focused on a massive boulder. He ordered the cyberhound to obliterate the eyesore immediately. Obeying its master, the beast gathered devastating energy within its metallic jaws, glowing with primal fury. A blast of pure destruction pulverized the stone instantly. If basic units were this strong, he was invincible. Xiao Li smirked. With high-tier gear, becoming the absolute ruler of this world would be child's play. Inside, Li Han was still drowning in sorrow. Her eyes remained fixed on the flickering television screen. Suddenly, a massive shadow loomed over her. She turned to find a giant, metallic beast standing there. It was her new guardian. Xiao Li appeared, explaining this hound would protect her just like little Bai. Tears of joy filled her eyes as she hugged her brother. Hope had finally returned to her. At Tianrun Pharma, the corrupt CEO Tian Wu saw the apocalypse as the ultimate business opportunity. He forced his workers into grueling overtime, flooding the market with fraudulent, low-grade medical supplies. Beyond making fake medicine, he used his influence to bribe high-ranking officials for lucrative government contracts. After sending his goons to find him a feast, he sat back, wearing a cold, predatory smirk. Suddenly, the fierce vice president, Ren Xiao, stormed into his office, ignoring the secretary's desperate protests. She confronted him instantly. The city's medical system was paralyzed, and people were dying in the streets. As the CEO of a pharmaceutical giant, she expected him to lead the relief efforts immediately. She demanded he donate equipment to hospitals instead of wasting resources on his suspicious animal experiments. Tian Wu's gaze remained icy. He reminded her that this was his office and his rules. He was a businessman, and in this dying world, profit was the only law he followed. He stepped closer, whispering that modern medicine was useless against the horrors currently unfolding outside. He reminded her that as a shareholder, she would benefit from the chaos he was creating. Imagine the power they would hold if they were the only ones with a real cure. Ren Xiao demanded to see the secret laboratory. She suspected his progress was built on lies. He deflected her with a cold laugh, claiming his research needed more time and more human labor. If she wanted results, she had to stop questioning him and provide more resources for his project. What dark secrets was he hiding behind those closed doors? The real nightmare was just beginning. To avoid suspicion, the vice president's sister requests a lab tour. Tian Wu agrees but sets a very specific condition. He promises an assistant guide for tomorrow. She happily accepts. The next day, she arrives at the facility as planned. A balding, stressed professor follows her like a shadow. Perhaps too much intense thinking has left his head completely bare. He introduces himself as Boy 2, the supervisor. He begins the tour, explaining the facility's operations as they walk. They descend into a secure area. Before a glass cage holding a mutant beast, he explains this is Subject 7. It is the only specimen that has not gone insane recently. Its power can increase exponentially under stress, he claims. Unlike the mindless, bloodthirsty failures, this one is stable yet aggressive. Suddenly, an assistant rushes in, looking completely panicked. Not wanting her to overhear, the man whispers a secret message. The professor's face turns pale with visible tension immediately. It seems to be a dire situation requiring his presence. Realizing he must go, he apologizes for ending the tour. He leaves a subordinate to keep her company. However, the sister had anticipated this distraction, hiding her true delight. She insists on staying alone, claiming she will be fine. Her innocent face convinces them she will cause no trouble. Trusting her act, the men depart. Little do they know, this little fox is far from the angel she portrays. They leave her alone to do as she pleases. Behind that innocent face lies a cunning fox ready for action. Once alone, she immediately contacts her team. She orders a full scan to find any suspicious hidden areas or secrets. Using advanced technology, they detect a hidden door. She approaches the suspicious entrance, her heart racing with intense anticipation. Since she was prepared, the complex password is breached. The heavy door slides open, revealing a forbidden, dark zone. Stepping deeper, she is struck by pure horror. She discovers the director has been conducting experiments on innocent humans. The cruelty is beyond words. She stands frozen, witnessing the absolute inhumanity of the director's secret, twisted research projects. Standing before a girl fused with a fishtail, she is horrified. She never imagined humanity could be so savage. Back at the main character's farm, life flourishes. Lee has added legendary corn to his list of crops. His sister is thrilled with their bounty. Together, they begin harvesting the vibrant, glowing corn from the rich soil. They take a break and light a fire to grill corn. He spreads rich cream and butter, creating a masterpiece. Seeing his sister eat so happily warms his heart. These super crops provide immense nutrition and boost physical strength. These anti-radiation plants grow at incredible speeds. They are delicious and help the survivors become stronger every single day. While they enjoy their meal, the security alarm blares. An intruder is approaching, catching Lee completely off guard. In this chaotic apocalypse, a visitor is dangerous. Lee drops his corn and rushes to investigate the gate. He expects a hungry wanderer, but finds Thien. His cousin has recovered and brought gifts of gratitude today. Lee recognizes the items immediately. They are the very supplies he secretly left at Uncle Nam's house recently. Playing along, he asks where the food came from. Thien scratches his head, looking quite flustered and awkward. He claims the food appeared in their yard miraculously. Perhaps a kind soul left it there for them, he says. He explains he came to repay the favor. He heard of a new food market opening on the outskirts. There is still stock left, but he has no car. He asks Lee to drive him there right now. Lee initially planned to go later, but agrees now. He worries about his sister, but trusts his hound's power. Thien gets in the car while Lai warns his sister. He tells her to stay inside and stay safe. Lai Ham nods obediently, telling him not to worry. She has her giant hound, Bach, to protect her. She tells her brother to go comfortably and be safe. She acts very proud of her loyal, powerful guardian dog. Before leaving, he playfully pinches his sister's cheek. Lee then drives to the gate to begin their journey. Lai Ham smiles and tells him to go. She stays home with the giant hound, looking very smug and satisfied. Before leaving, Thien playfully teases the sister. He then jumps into the car as they head for the gate. He departs with Thien, leaving her home. Alone, she returns to her favorite cartoons to pass the time. Sitting in the car, Thien expresses deep concern. He wonders if leaving her alone is truly safe right now. Seeing his worry, Lee laughs it off. He claims their barren farm attracts no attention from dangerous wasteland predators. He adds that the high-voltage electric fence is enough. Reassured, Thien immediately pulls out his phone to text. Lee asks what he is doing so intently. The young man stammers, acting incredibly nervous while staring at the screen. He claims he is asking a friend for emergency funds. Little does Lee know, a secret is brewing nearby. Lee's gaze turned cold as ice. Back at the base, Ham and Xiao He were blissfully unaware. While they enjoyed a rare moment of peace, the drama outside was reaching a boiling point. Lee pulled out a thick stack of bills, a fortune in this dying, lawless world. Despite the apocalypse, his kindness hadn't withered. He forced the money into the boy's trembling hands. Overwhelmed by this generosity, Xiao swore loyalty, promising to repay the debt with his life. Their journey continued through the desolate ruins until the destination was finally within their sight. Sensing a trap, Lee suddenly veered off the main path, his survival instincts screaming in warning. Panic seized Xiao as he grabbed the wheel, desperate to guide Lee back to the ambush. Lee's eyes narrowed. This kid was hiding something dark, and the truth was about to explode. Lee's voice was a low growl. "Who were you texting? Show me your phone, right now." Trembling like a leaf, Tian begged him to turn back, claiming time was running out. As Lee swerved onto a side road, a luxury car waited in the shadows, filled with hunters. The predators were furious. Their prey had slipped through their fingers, escaping the perfect killing zone. Their leader roared an order. The hunt was on. They wouldn't let their prize escape again. Tears streaming, Tian confessed the betrayal. His father's life was being held over his head by devils. In this cruel era, even the poor were targets for those hungry for more power. The shadows of the Tianrun Corporation emerged. They wanted the legendary medicine hidden in Li's farm. Their plan was vile: lure Li away, then seize his home and kidnap young Ham Ham. Rage erupted within Li. To target a 6-year-old child? This was a line never crossed. His eyes burned with fury. If they wanted a monster, he would give them one they'd never forget. You were scouting my defenses this whole time? You were nothing but a rat in my home. Every text, every word. It was all a signal for those vultures to descend on my kingdom. Disgust filled Li's soul. He had saved a viper, only to be bitten when his back turned. An ungrateful beast is worse than a monster. Your tears mean nothing to me now, you traitor. I will settle our score later. First, I must wipe out the scum blocking my path home. To understand why the pharmacy giants were hunting Li, we must look back a few days. After consuming Li's mystical carrot, Tian's body underwent a miraculous evolution, but his hunger was insatiable. Driven by a primal need for food, he ignored his father's pleas and vanished into the night. He arrived at a contact's house, looking like a demon drenched in blood and desperation. The terrified man almost refused entry until Tian pointed toward the security cameras nearby. He needed to know who had visited his home, hoping to find the source of the miracle. The footage revealed a familiar face. The benefactor was none other than their former master, Li. Tian rushed back to share the news. The savior they sought was right under their noses. Uncle Nam wept with joy, realizing their young master had returned with the power of life. He couldn't believe Li had shared his precious resources to save his dying son's life. But Tian's mind was elsewhere. He began asking about the ruthless Tianrun Corporation's bounty. When Uncle Nam realized his son's intent, he roared in fury at such a shameful betrayal. If not for Li, you'd be a corpse. How can you even think of selling him out? Tian's heart had turned to stone. He only wanted a comfortable life in this hellish apocalypse. A single carrot won't last forever. Why wait for scraps when we can take it all? A heavy blow landed on Tian's face. His father's heart broke as he cursed his own blood. I will break your legs before I let you commit such a sin. But it was too late. Back in the present, the trap had closed. Armed men blocked every possible exit for Li's car. There was no escape. Li stepped out, dragging the traitorous Tian as his only shield. A man named Shen Yan stepped forward with a chilling, polite smile. The true battle began. Tianwan Pharma's meeting is unusual, but they only want one thing. Your miracle medicine. A partnership for poison treatment. You provide the stock. We handle the massive distribution. Profits will be legendary. Xiao Li simply smirks. What if I refuse this deal? Negotiation ends. Violence begins. They draw blades and slowly surround our main character. No guns? Xiao Li's confidence surges. The thug leader pulls a phone to threaten the farm. One call and his goons will storm the farm. Resistance means his home is destroyed. They dared to touch his sister. With freezing, killing intent, Xiao Li glares at the leader. You should be glad you're still here, kid. At least you'll live a bit longer. Alone and outnumbered, the thugs laugh. They think the main character has lost his mind. Enough talk. The boss orders a total assault. The pack of wolves lunges at Xiao Li. Thanks to his super farm nutrition, Xiao Li's strength and speed have evolved to monstrous levels. Fearless in the center, he becomes a whirlwind. Bare hands against steel, he dominates them all. The boss is stunned. This scholarly-looking kid possesses such terrifying, raw, destructive power. The intel said he was weak. Instead, he's caving in chests like they're made of paper. Testing his anti-radiation buff for the first time, Xiao Li revels in the absolute power. The physical enhancement from his farm is frightening. His potential is truly beyond human limits. Imagine the power of high-level crops. After a quick warm-up, he decides it is enough. He retreats and draws a firearm. Now, who wants to die first in this wasteland? In this lawless apocalypse, killing you won't even make the police blink an eye. Faced with a gun, the boss plays the tough guy. Bringing a gun to melee? Pathetic. My backer is elite. Pull the trigger if you dare. Xiao Li answers with 2 bullets. He ruthlessly guns down the minions. The wounded ones desperately crawl into the dark forest. The boss hides behind a rock, waiting for a melee opening. He thinks he's safe. Suddenly, Xiao Li appears above him. He smiles and activates the mysterious system interface. He pulls a brand new rifle from the void. The boss watches in sheer, hopeless terror. Meanwhile, the invaders at the farm face a nightmare. They never stood a single chance. Attacked by mutated hummingbirds and hounds, the goons are torn to shreds instantly. The sister worries about her brother's scolding. Back in the forest, the hunt concludes. Bleeding and broken, the thug leader begs for mercy. He desperately pleads for his life. No mercy for assassins. Choose a quick death or a slow, agonizing medical torture. I have infinite ammo and time. I can heal you just to break you again. Terrified, the thug breaks. He promises to reveal everything about the shadow behind the curtain. The mastermind is CEO 𝑨𝒑𝒂𝒏. He orchestrated everything from the corporate shadows. The CEO acted alone, keeping the intel secret from everyone else in the company. Even the board of directors is oblivious. This was a personal, rogue power play. Seeking to overthrow the vice president, 𝒑𝒂𝒏 wanted to seize absolute corporate power, a classic power struggle. Xiaoli realizes Tianwan is just a small branch office. Did 𝒑𝒂𝒏 report this to headquarters? Xiaoli presses for the ultimate truth. Not yet. The vice president has high-level backers, making the CEO move very cautiously. He feared a leak would ruin his scheme. Secrecy was his only weapon until now. To kill the snake, strike the head. Xiaoli commands the thug to lead the way. The thug calls 𝒑𝒂𝒏. The CEO answers eagerly, expecting news of a successful capture. The target is secured, but he demands to see the CEO before revealing the secret. Annoyed but greedy, the CEO orders them to meet at warehouse number 78. 𝒑𝒂𝒏 slams his phone down. He vows to erase his incompetent subordinates very soon. Li Xiao moved instantly. Swapping clothes with the bound thug, he gunned the engine toward the treacherous meeting point. The traitor Xiao Tian acted grateful at the rendezvous, but the trap was already set as they finally arrived. Xiao Tian led Li Xiao inside, or so it seemed. In reality, a decoy stood in the shadows to fool the director. From a distance, the boss couldn't see clearly. "Where are the others?" he barked. Xiao Tian kept up the charade. "The messenger is unconscious, and Brother Nam is indisposed." He lied. "The great boss is waiting. So, I'll deliver this myself." Tian Wu sneered, mocking his useless men. "A bunch of losers can't even handle a simple task without my intervention. Still won't talk after that beating? You're tough, but I haven't even started being truly cruel yet, you little brat. Talk, and the old man lives," he threatened, grinding Uncle Nam's head into the dirt. The old man wept in agony. Annoyed by the whimpering, Tian Wu delivered several brutal kicks to satisfy his own twisted, petty rage. Seeing his father tortured, Xiao Tian's blood boiled with fury. But unarmed, he could only watch the horror unfold. Tian Wu ordered his goons to finish the old man while he interrogated Li Xiao, but the hunter had already arrived. Dropping from the roof like a god of death, Li Xiao's boot crushed the villain's face before he landed gracefully. The subordinates froze in terror as their leader collapsed. Amidst the chaos, Tian Wu crawled on the ground, still arrogant. "What do you want?" he spat. "My brother Chen Nam will slaughter you. You'll regret the day you were born." Li Xiao laughed at the empty threats. "Your time is up. Did you really think such low intelligence could rule here? Is your only talent playing dirty? Look over there." Li Xiao pointed toward the heavily bandaged figure in the distance. The realization hit like a freight train. It was all a ruse. Tian Wu's jaw dropped in sheer, pathetic disbelief. Desperate, the director shrieked, "Touch me, and the old man dies." He truly believed he still held a winning card. Li Xiao's expression turned cold and mocking. "Go ahead. Kill him. Trade your life for a stranger's? I'll take that deal." Everyone went pale. They realized they weren't dealing with a hero, but a madman who played by his own rules. As two thugs lunged to save their boss, Li Xiao didn't blink. He drew his weapon to dispense some lead. Two shots rang out, two gifts of cold steel. The goons didn't even have time to scream before meeting their maker. With the guards dead, Xiao Tian lunged forward to untie his father. The tide of battle had completely turned. Li Xiao decided Tian Wu shouldn't be lonely in hell. He pulled the trigger, sending the villain to join his men. Once the dust settled, the father and son knelt, trembling with gratitude and guilt for the chaos their greed caused. "So many lives lost over a bit of food," Li Xiao remarked. Xiao Tian's apologies rang hollow in the silent warehouse. "Save your breath," Li Xiao snapped. "If you're just seeking peace of mind, forget it. You don't deserve any forgiveness. I won't kill you, you're not worth the effort." He signaled his men to scrub the crime scene of any lingering evidence. As the bodies were piled, Uncle Nam approached the tied-up thug, unaware that the snake still had some venom left. The thug had used a glass shard to saw through his ropes. In a flash, he lunged, stabbing the old man. Uncle Nam screamed in agony. Seeing his father at death's door, Xiao Tian threw himself into the line of fire. Without a shred of combat skill, the young man used his own body as a human shield to protect his father. Seeing his son mangled, Uncle Nam's eyes turned murderous. He wanted to tear that bastard apart with his bare hands. But Li Xiao was faster. He slammed the accelerator, his car roaring like a beast as it charged the thug. The thug was crushed instantly against the wall. Li Xiao leaped out, checking the pulse of the dying, broken family. Cradled in his father's arms, Xiao Tian whispered through blood, "Boss Li, my father was right. I'm a total failure. I couldn't be good. And I wasn't even a good villain. My greed destroyed everything." His voice faded into a rasp. With a final breath, the light left his eyes. Driven by pure grief, Uncle Nam finished the job with a shard. He slashed until the rage subsided. Together, they set the warehouse ablaze, letting the flames consume the sins of past. The next day at the corporation, Ren Xiao was enjoying her tea when a frantic subordinate burst in with news. "Tian Wu is dead." The sister froze, her cup trembling. Just yesterday, he was boasting of his power and influence. It felt like a nightmare. She rushed to the morgue, desperate to see the remains of the man who ruled, charred beyond recognition, the coroner reported. But DNA confirms it is indeed Tian Wu and his top enforcer, Chen Nam. Several bodies remained unidentified with no records in the gene bank. In this lawless apocalypse, no one came for them. The police were powerless, lacking the resources to investigate a massacre in these dark times. Ren Xiao felt a chill. The coroner confirms this was no accident, but a cold-blooded assassination with bullets still lodged inside. The fire was a cover-up started from a car to incinerate the evidence and the mangled remains. One victim suffered brutal torture before death. Nam Tu lifts the shroud to find a terrifying, charred skull. Seeing that arrogant director meet such a gruesome end felt like divine justice for his twisted human experiments. A monster like him deserved this fate. Time for a celebratory drink before we check on our protagonist. After settling the chaos, the duo wanders for days before finally returning to their sanctuary, the farm. Ham Ham rushes out to greet her brother, but Tu Li notices a massive pile of fresh earth. She stammers, claiming she was just playing, but she's actually hiding the bodies the hounds slaughtered. Seeing her tears, he reassures her. No matter the mistake, they will carry the burden together as family. He pinches her cheeks playfully. She is his most precious person in this crumbling, desolate world. He praises her for standing up to evil. "We don't hunt others, but we never let predators survive." Ham Ham reveals she saw a repulsive red light radiating from those men, sparking her instinctive hatred. She hated that suffocating red aura, so she ordered the hounds to eliminate the threat immediately. Tuthian is intrigued. He asks if she sees other colors dancing around the people they know. Her brother is a soothing blue, the dogs are friendly green, but Tuthian also flashes red. Realizing she might be a player like him, Tuoli asks if she sees floating systems, screens, or text. She shakes her head. No screens, just the vibrant colors of souls swirling in the air around them. He analyzes the situation while pinching her cheeks. This isn't a system, it is something far more profound. This is a natural evolution triggered by consuming his special, radiation-free crops from the superfarm. These plants grant miraculous powers to those who eat them. Global dominance is finally within his grasp. System-bought seeds are pure, lacking the side effects of the mutated vegetation rotting in the wasteland outside. After only a few days of eating this divine food, their physical limits are already being shattered. Ham Ham has developed a soul sight ability, allowing her to read the hidden emotions of every human, blue for trust, gray for apathy, and red for malice. She has become the ultimate human radar system. While he possesses the Eye of Truth, her gift shall be known as the Eye of Good and Evil. After clearing the scene, the three of them prepare a feast that would make a king jealous. Steam rises from a table full of delicacies, a rare sight in this hopeless, starving apocalypse. Xiaothian invites Uncle Nam to stay. In this era, a lone soul is just a target for death. Ham Ham cheers in agreement. Uncle Nam weeps with gratitude while stuffing his face with the heavenly food. Meanwhile, in a dark corner of the world, a mysterious figure watches the grim news broadcast. Day 15 of the Great Catastrophe. 39.6 million dead. The Federation is on the brink. The government is desperate, stockpiling grain and pushing for mass-scale, high-tech, soilless farming to survive. Do not panic, the announcer lies. Just before the television is abruptly cut to black, a son silences the screen. In a world without bread, his father's talk of money is utterly worthless. Luong Thianvu was a brilliant moneymaker, but now he is just another useless corpse in the dirt. The rate of mutation is skyrocketing. Military forces just captured a terrifying level 5 mutant in the south. Bach Kingnan breaks into a cold sweat. Their highest artificial creation was only a level 3. Deep in the untouched mountains, nature is evolving into something humanity can no longer hope to control. Predatory beasts devour one another. fueling an evolutionary explosion that defies every known law of science. Human technology is a flickering candle against the roaring storm of this new, savage natural selection. The father orders his son to seize the secret research lab left behind by the deceased 𝑨𝒑𝒏𝒏. They must combine their dark technologies to extract the lethal virus before their rivals make a move. The next day at 𝑨𝒑𝒏𝒏 Company, 𝑨𝒑𝒏𝒏 sits back, piecing together the puzzles of the apocalypse. The records from 2 days ago were perfect. The director's death is hidden within those missing hours. Every crucial piece of evidence was scrubbed clean by the director himself before he met his end. Luang 𝑨𝒑𝒏𝒏 erased the clues. No use dwelling on the past. He chose a site for the new research lab. Time to meet the new director. His sister rushed out to welcome Bok King Non at the entrance. Mr. Bok's car arrived. They greeted each other warmly, but the atmosphere shifted as a massive figure emerged. A 2-meter-tall giant loomed behind Bok. Little Nam trembled, sweat pouring down her face at his terrifying presence. Back at 𝑨𝒑𝒏𝒏's farm, farming became routine. He accessed the system, searching for something more legendary. A new feature, fish farming unlocked. Level 1 fingerlings required 50 points and basic water purity. Level 2 required 500 points. Level 3 demanded 5,000 points and high-tier water quality. Level 4 jumped to 500,000 points. The requirements for the water became increasingly extreme. Level 5 cost 5 million points. 𝑨𝒑𝒏𝒏 marveled at the sheer scale of this evolution system. The variety was insane. Even legendary bluefin tuna was now within his reach for mere points. 500 points for luxury food? Incredible. He turned to Ham, asking if she craved fresh salmon. The poor girl didn't even know the taste. Drooling, she nodded eagerly. Her hunger was truly adorable. No work, no food. 𝒑𝒏𝒏 grabbed his tools. Ham skipped along, ready to build their future. They brought 𝒑𝒏𝒏 along. After sketching a pond design, the trio prepared to transform the Wasteland. While the robot dogs did the heavy lifting, 𝒑𝒏𝒏 noticed 𝒑𝒏𝒏's massive growth spurt. Spending every day together blinded him to the change. The beast's physique was becoming truly monstrous. Was it a mutation like 𝒑𝒏𝒏? That thought sent a shiver of worry down his spine. He had cleared the toxins. Could the dog be evolving from eating his specialized radiation-free supercrops? He had to protect his family. No more tragedies. Suddenly, the system blared a high-priority warning. Strangers at the gate. 2 men and 1 woman. Threat level 8. The tension spiked instantly. Why was Bok King Non here with a bodyguard? Little Nyam wondered what their host's intentions were. Bok claimed he wanted a real-life farm simulator, a strange excuse for trespassing during the apocalypse. The bodyguard's patience snapped. He raised a fist, ready to smash the gate, and the owner. Bok remained polite, offering a sharp contrast. I have a proposal. May we enter and speak? Our protagonist wasn't buying it. He stood his ground. Say what you have to say right there. Nam Tu flashed a card. I'm the CEO of 𝑨𝒑𝒏𝒏. We're here to buy this farm. Name your price. 𝒑𝒏𝒏 froze. How did these corporate vultures track him down so quickly? Fear gripped him. Had he left a trail? The silence stretched, making the air heavy with dread. Money, supplies, anything you want, she pushed. They were desperate for his legendary resources. She even offered a luxury villa. In this dying world, a safe haven was worth its weight in gold. But 𝒑𝒏𝒏 knew better. Without this land, his god-tier crops would die. He wouldn't sell his soul. Rejection fueled the guard's rage. He began battering the gate, shouting threats that echoed through the farm. Warning. The system flashed red. The farm's perimeter was under heavy assault. Immediate action required. Attack power. 2. Counter. Attack. 𝒑𝒏𝒏 prepared to unleash a lethal electric shock on the thug. Stop! Bok roared. Before the guard could react, a stinging slap echoed across the clearing. Have you forgotten your place? Bok hissed. One more act of thuggery and you're fired. Swallowing his pride for a paycheck, the guard bowed. Bok then turned back with a hollow apology. 𝒑𝒏𝒏 narrowed his eyes. He wanted to test the limits of this supposed elite warrior's strength. He lured the giant closer. Then, like a coiled viper, he struck with a devastating low blow. The guard collapsed, clutching his groin in agony. A pathetic sight for such a massive man. That's for my gate, 𝒑𝒏𝒏 barked. We're even. Now get off my land before I get serious. Realizing 𝒑𝒏𝒏 was no pushover, Bok left his contact info and retreated for now. As the car sped away, 𝒑𝒏𝒏 stared at the note. The corporate wolves were closing in. 10 days until the next season of destruction. He was running out of time to build his sanctuary. Crops were stable, and the fish pond was ready. But he needed more power to survive the storm. Expanding the farm's territory, I open the freezer to feast on premium cuts. A master chef in disguise. His cooking is purely divine. Ham is so blessed. Warmth amidst the frozen wasteland. A king's feast is served. Pure happiness found here. Ultimate luxury in this hell. But Uncle Nam is trembling, fearing the food will vanish. Little does he truly know. This food is divine medicine. Time to reveal the secret. Curious, aren't you, Uncle? Brace yourself for the truth. This isn't ordinary survival. This food rewrites your DNA. Consuming it grants godlike power. Witness the evolution begin. Immunity to the biting cold. Strength that shatters all limits. Awaken your hidden abilities. I'm waiting for your mutation. Nam turns pale with shock. Is this a movie fantasy? He laughs at the absurdity. Movie tropes or harsh reality? The line is blurring fast. Sci-fi has become our world. The impossible is now inevitable. Look around you, Uncle. Prehistoric monsters once ruled. Why can't we evolve now? Ancient legends are awakening. Divine powers are no longer myths. This isn't a disaster. It's the dawn of evolution, changing the dark atmosphere. Nam asks about the visitors. Who dared enter our sanctuary? The Thien Nguyen Corporation. That name sparks a fire. A past of betrayal awakens. Fury boils in his veins. He snaps his chopsticks. With newfound, superhuman strength, an old man turned warrior. The farm's food is miraculous. Its effects are truly undeniable. With the guard post secured, I head into the night. My sister is safe now. Night falls over the wasteland. The guests settle into bed, but the hunt never sleeps. A young master's heart flutters, dreaming of the beauty upstairs. Is he planning something dark? She retreats to her chamber, while my robotic eyes track every single breath she takes. A faint buzzing in the air. A mosquito in this winter? She suspects nothing yet, seeking comfort in her room. The ritual of the night. She prepares to wash away. Steam fills her private sanctuary. A moment of pure indulgence, longing for a soulmate's warmth, radiance that rivals the stars. She cares for her skin. In the heart of the apocalypse, every secret is being recorded. My hummingbird sees it all. Even the most private moments. A sound at the window. Just a stray insect, she thinks. She opens the portal wide. She gazes at the frozen sky. Suddenly, a shadow drops, an intruder from the abyss, paralyzed by pure, cold terror. Before she can even scream, hand claps over her mouth, pinned to the cold floor. Where are the guards now? I'll fire them all tomorrow. A voice whispers like ice. Scream and you die instantly. Understood, little bird? My blade or your guards? Which one is faster, darling? The choice is yours. She points to the secret safe. Numbers, jewelry, and pure gold. Take it all and leave. I'll keep your dark secret. Just don't hurt me, please. Desperation smells so sweet. A cooperative little kitten indeed. She trembles on the floor, bargaining for her very soul. Money can buy you everything. Infinite food and safety. Just vanish into the night. A chuckle echoes in the room. I'm not here for gold. I'm here for something more. Perhaps I'll steal your beauty? She retorts with a lie. I'm riddled with diseases. A desperate, clever defense. Don't you dare touch me. How dare you be so vile? I silence her with a grip. Who ordered the hit, girl? Tell me about Thien Vu. Her eyes widen in disbelief. How is there a survivor? The plan was perfect. Silence is her only answer. He was like a father, and I want his revenge. Hand over every single detail, the truth behind his death. I'll see it for myself. She shakes like a leaf. I'm still investigating the truth, but the clues are gone. The police and I are trying, but the trail is cold. There's nothing left to find. The clock was ticking, yet the culprit remained a ghost. I had to ensure she didn't suspect a thing. Little Lee pressed harder. With Luong dead, you took his throne. Are you the one who framed me? She denied it frantically. In this city, Luong Tianvu had enemies everywhere. Someone used the chaos to strike. His brutal end was clearly a vendetta. Killing just for a CEO title? That would be utter madness. He had purged every digital footprint of his recent schemes. The past was wiped clean into a void. I don't even know who he met before his final breath. How can I possibly name a suspect? This mystery is rotting my brain too. Knowing the brat had erased all tracks, Lee smirked. He was safe. Ha ha ha, I've cheated death. Suddenly, thunderous bangs shook the door. The security alarm had been deactivated. The nanny screamed for the mistress. Lady Nam, open up. Security guards prepared to breach the room. But little Thien was already a shadow in the wind. He leaped from the window into the dark. Pure adrenaline. He thought he was free, but a figure blocked his path. It was Master Bok. How did you find me? I left no traces behind? Bok smirked, his eyes gleaming with calculated coldness. You underestimate me, boy. Gravity sensors on the window caught your every move. I ordered my men to seal the main gates. To avoid a direct clash, you chose the window, a predictable escape route for a cornered rat. Seeing the smaller man, Lee launched a devastating strike, a powerhouse punch aimed straight for the face. But Bok was no amateur. He raised his knee, blocking the blow with ironclad precision. Both men recoiled. Bok grinned, his eyes burning with excitement. Impressive. My knee against your arm. This is getting interesting. I calculated a force of 700 kilograms. Your forearm bones should have shattered instantly. Yet, there isn't a single crack. Have you mastered some secret martial art? Or is this something else? Your moves are raw, lacking any formal style. Pure instinct? Simply unbelievable. Lee's heart began to race. This opponent was a true monster. Lee felt his confidence wavering. Could his current strength overcome such skill? His limbs began to tremble. Despite his superhuman evolution, fighting a grandmaster was a nightmare scenario. Bok charged with supreme confidence, aiming to finish it. Lee realized a prolonged battle was suicide. He needed a distraction. He hurled a handful of cornstarch into Bok's eyes, a desperate smokescreen to buy a few precious seconds. Bok roared in frustration as his vision blurred. By the time he wiped his eyes, Lee had vanished. Guards rushed to the scene only to find their master kneeling. The intruder had escaped their tightening net. Search everywhere. They escorted Bok back to recover. It was just simple cornstarch. Yet the humiliation stung more than any wound. He checked the girl's condition. She's just unconscious, he noted. A precise strike to the back of the neck. Give her these medicines when she wakes. I've written down the exact dosages. The city was falling apart. Nam Thon is in chaos. Since nothing was stolen, let's not blow this out of proportion. The nanny nodded. Suddenly, a guard burst in, trembling with fear. Master. We just checked your private study. A heavy silence fell. The secure hard drive is missing. Bok's face turned purple. That drive held the world's deadliest secrets. Meanwhile, Lee reached his sanctuary, breathing a sigh of relief. The police had no leads on him. He was safe. But curiosity burned. Why did they want his farm so badly? He plugged in the stolen drive to find out. Before opening the files, he severed every network connection. No digital tracers will find me here, he muttered. He began to read, his eyes widening with every page. Documents soaked in the blood of countless lives. The truth emerged. Radioactive food isn't just a curse, it's a catalyst. It triggers profound mutations in every living cell. This isn't a disaster, it's a golden opportunity, the ultimate shortcut to human evolution. The millions who died were simply failed experiments. They took the wrong turn on the road to godhood. I will find the true path, no matter the body count. I will lead humanity into a higher civilization. Disease will be a myth. Birth defects will be purged. No one will ever be a burden again. Our strength will rival the ancient predators of myth. We shall become as powerful as the gods themselves. Lifespans extending beyond 300 years. Whether I find glory or death, I shall not stop. Back at the mansion, Bok couldn't sleep, his mind racing. The missing files were a ticking time bomb. He tried to trace the signal, but found only static. Who are you, you little brat? Breaking into a house and ignoring cash or beauty for a hard drive? This thief is a total enigma. After grinding more points, I traded with the system for livestock to breathe life into my growing farm. Watching the tiny animals, Ham was captivated, wishing she could snuggle them in her room all night. Where did these animals come from? No traders visited. To keep things simple, Xiaoli acted fast. He told her he possessed a magic pouch, capable of summoning anything like a legendary cosmic cat. Children are so easily swayed. Ham believed every word and happily handed the rabbits over to him. The moment he touched them, the system flashed a crimson alert. A rare treasure has appeared. High-tier albino corn. A level 2 rarity has sprouted in the field. Harvest this legendary consumable immediately. One bite triggers a berserk state, amplifying strength, speed, and reflexes tenfold for 30 seconds of carnage. With such a treasure nearby, Xiaoli didn't hesitate for a second. He dashed toward the garden instantly. He plucked it with trembling hands, desperate to verify if this was truly the legendary rare grade. Driven by greed, he scavenged every inch of the garden, hoping for another miracle among the stalks. But luck had run dry. Slumping to the ground, he realized that legendary items are incredibly elusive. These miracles depend entirely on hidden RNG during planting. The system offers no previews for special drops. This was a stroke of pure fate. Perhaps increasing crop density by half would trigger more anomalies? If I double the plants, wouldn't the drop rate for rare items soar? But wait, that's a trap. Overcrowding the soil is a rookie mistake. It might boost rarity odds, but it destroys overall crop quality. High density means stunted growth and dying saplings. I must remain an honest farmer, not a schemer. Points are the foundation of my kingdom. Rare items are merely the delicious frosting on the cake. Back at the near mansion, the sister finally awoke. Weak but determined, she dove into the computer. Munching on snacks, she replayed the security footage to identify the brat who dared invade her sanctuary. Her pure body was pinned down by a stranger. She swore a blood oath to find and shred him. She produced a single strand of hair, the culprit's DNA. After analyzing it, she met with Mr. Bai. "I've secured your research institute," the CEO stated. An old factory site, not far from that mysterious farm. It was a bargain buy in a secluded area, perfect for secretive experiments away from prying eyes. Recognizing her attempt to linger, the young Master Bai cut to the chase, asking for her true motive. She didn't dodge. "Since you're a biological expert, I need you to run a high-level DNA comparison. I need to track someone in Nam Than who matches this hair." Bai, however, was completely unimpressed. "Searching for one person during the apocalypse?" he scoffed. "It's like finding a needle in a vast ocean." He looked indifferent, clearly unwilling to waste his genius on a petty grudge or a girl's whim. The young miss was fuming inside, but she waved it off, trying to mask her burning frustration. "Forget it. I just wanted to find the thug who pinned me down. I'll find someone else." That stung his pride. Master Bai stood abruptly, declaring that nothing was too difficult for his expertise. Seeing him take the bait, she thanked him profusely. Meanwhile, at the Tianwan pharmaceutical labs, scientists were desperately engineering super beasts to defend humanity against the growing tide of radioactive monsters. But these early trials were nightmares. They didn't create protectors. They birthed savage, uncontrollable abominations. These creatures were more brutal than the mutants outside. Seeing another failure, Bai King Non sighed. He ordered the specimen's termination. It was day 19 since the Great Mutation changed the world forever. Reports from Kyoto revealed piles of mutated animal corpses in Nachi town, their origin a complete mystery. The epidemic department was clearing the bodies, but the world remained shadowed by this new, dark reality. Ham watched the news, despite not understanding it, simply because the morning cartoons hadn't started yet. Xiaoli praised her interest in current events, making her beam with pride while hugging her pet. "I want to grow up fast to protect you, brother. Little Hack is getting so strong already." Xiaoli smiled, relieved his loyal hound hadn't suffered a twisted mutation like the white cat. He left the dog to guard the room, unaware of the storm brewing around his secret farm. Boredom struck while she waited. Scanning the room, Han spotted it. A mysterious box sat on the table. Curiosity flared. Was it hidden candy? Inside lay 2 glowing seeds. One for the dog, one for herself. She spat hers out too bitter. But Little Black had already swallowed. The reaction was instant. The pup grew sluggish and drifted into sleep. Night fell. Uncle Nam heard terrifying growls echoing from the dark warehouse. Blood stained the floor. He flashed his light, heart pounding in fear. There, Little Black stood, eyes white, fangs bared, a transformed predator. Bloodlust filled its gaze. It lunged, intent on tearing him apart. Thanks to the farm food, Nam's buffed reflexes saved his life. But the beast wasn't finished. It snarled, preparing for a second strike. Fear gripped him. How did a pup become a monstrous wolf? Resistance felt futile. He tried to calm the beast with trembling hands. It shattered the glass, leaping into the void under his shocked gaze. He feared the electric fence, but his worries were completely useless. It cleared the 3-meter wall effortlessly. A monster had been born. The system stayed silent. Xiaoli woke up, sensing something was wrong. "Disaster!" Nam shouted. "Little Black has lost it and escaped." Noise woke Han. She joined the chaos as questions began flying. "What did he eat?" her brother demanded, sensing a hidden truth. "We just ate the glowing seeds from that box," she confessed. Shock hit Xiaoli. Those were level 4 growth seeds. Evolution had triggered. But why the madness? The system stayed silent. No answer from the system. "Go sleep, Han. I will find him." Under the pale moon, the small pup was now a majestic wolf. Driven by instinct, the beast vanished deep into the misty forest. Evolution granted him sentience. A voice whispered, "Tear them all apart. I want to kill. But I cannot hurt my human family." A shadowy figure watched from the trees, eyes gleaming with greed. A legendary divine beast. The stranger smirked, sensing a golden opportunity. Xiao Li raced into the woods, desperate to find his loyal companion. Drones found nothing. He had to find him before the soldiers did. Suddenly, an old woman blocked his path, her voice raspy and thin. "Searching for a black wolf? Young man, is that your pet? Do you know the truth? This apocalypse is heaven's divine punishment. The gods are angry at humanity's sins. This is the end. Join us to be saved. Repent before the end of the world." A cultist? In this economy? Xiao Li stared in pure disbelief. "You sure are hard-working, Grandma, preaching even during the end times. How do I join?" he asked, playing along with her twisted game. "Pay 30,000 for the highest tier. Get closer to the gods. Or better yet, just hand over that divine beast of yours." Her brainwashing skills were pathetic. Xiao Li was not buying the act. "Learn how to lie better, Grandma." He spat, revving the engine. He vanished into the night, leaving the cursing cultist in the dust. "Condemned to eternal hell. You're just a lowly, pathetic insect." Soon, the gears of fate began to turn. An intruder stumbled into the shadows. Blackie's primal instincts flared instantly. The hunt was on. He lunged with feral rage. No one could stop the carnage. This intruder belonged to Lord Bai. Mutants on his land? Curiosity piqued. The young master watched. A predator lurked in the dark. It hunted like a wolf, yet with control. Unlike mindless zombies, it was focused. Bai was stunned. Low-level mutants wander aimlessly. But this one was different. A higher existence stood before him. This was no ordinary monster. It targeted the limbs, avoiding a kill. It was calculating. It understood firearms. Using a hostage? Its intelligence was truly terrifying to behold. With this, Virus N research would skyrocket. "Are you the perfect evolution I've sought? Capture it alive at any cost." The order was given. The ultimate hunt had begun. The subordinates scrambled. Armed with tranquilizer rifles, they felt invincible. The trap was set. Marksman took aim. Bang, bang. Blackie sensed the danger and leaped into the air. Staying meant certain death. The clever beast vanished into the shadows of the forest. Meanwhile, Xiao Li searched for his pet. Suddenly, the system issued a high-level warning. Bloody tracks marked the path. Xiao Li's heart sank. This evidence was far too suspicious. Could these be Blackie's prints? What kind of nightmare had his companion walked into? Deep in the woods, young Master Bai persisted. A rare mutant was worth any price. He gripped his weapon, grinning. This catch would fund his research for years to come. Look at those rippling muscles. A masterpiece of biology. Truly a magnificent, perfect creature. Blackie was racing toward his master. The system alerted Xiao Li to the incoming danger. He deployed his drone. The footage sent a chill down his spine. Time was running out. His old nemesis was hunting his dog. Pure rage burned in Xiao Li's chest. The enemy was a martial expert. Xiao Li consumed the strength corn from his farm. They didn't want to kill the beast. Capturing it alive meant keeping a distance. But Blackie's reflexes were godlike. The marksman couldn't land a single tranquilizer shot. Cornered, the beast struck back. He leaped off a tree, targeting the driver directly. The creature was exposed. The remaining vehicles converged to fire their darts at once. Blackie saw every projectile. But pinned down by the driver, he was totally vulnerable. Just as the darts were about to strike, a hand snatched the dog from midair. It was Xiao Li. The albino corn pushed his speed to superhuman levels instantly. Only 30 seconds for this power-up. Every single heartbeat counted in this fight. Young Master Bai froze. A streak of light? He opened fire, desperate to capture it. Not a single bullet hit. Xiao Li neutralized the lackeys in 5 short seconds. Time was up. He delivered a crushing blow to Bai's arrogant, punchable face. Xiao Li vanished into the night. He had to protect his identity at all costs. Though battered, the villain persisted. He aimed his gun for one final, cowardly shot. Blackie lunged to protect his master, but the bullet tore through Xiao Li's shoulder. The beast sensed the pain. Lifting Xiao Li onto his back, they fled toward home. Exhaustion finally claimed them. Man and beast collapsed on the cold, desolate road. Despite his wounds, Xiao Li reached out. Was his loyal friend going to survive? He begged the system for help. Only cold silence greeted his desperate cries. Inside Blackie, genes were rewriting. A glowing cocoon began to envelop his entire body. A massive chrysalis hung in the forest. Meanwhile, the wounded villain planned his revenge. Shadows erupted as a mystical cocoon suddenly enveloped Little Black, sealing his body within seconds, appearing just like a massive chrysalis swaying in the ancient forest. Meanwhile, the mangled young Master Bai fights to stay alive. Bai was rushed to the ER with fatal injuries. His condition was critical after the brutal assault. His brain was hemorrhaging and his throat was slashed. Staying alive this long was a pure miracle. The guards begged for mercy as the director's fury boiled. The atmosphere was thick with impending doom. "Don't give me excuses," the sister screamed. "Your lives were meant to be his ultimate shield. My brother lies there dying, and you offer words?" Her rage was as cold as the apocalypse. They couldn't even identify the attacker. Her patience snapped as she prepared to fire them all. Then, the doctor entered with grim news. "Young Miss, Research Fellow Bai is officially beyond saving. He has moments left. Let's inject a stimulant so he can voice his final regrets." Refusing to die, Bai snapped awake. He roared for his bodyguard, Da Kui, with terrifying intensity. He ordered the injection of the untested Type 5 virus. It was a forbidden, lethal gamble. The guard hesitated. "Master, it's too dangerous. The human trials haven't even begun yet. If this fails, you won't even have a human body left to bury," the guard pleaded. But Bai was backed into a corner. It was either a legendary evolution or a miserable death. "Do it," he commanded. The doctor, trembling, prepared the dark serum and plunged it in. The virus raced through his blood like fire. His veins turned a ghastly red as it took hold. Bai thrashed in agony, screaming as his DNA broke. Meanwhile, in the forest, a cocoon stirred. Shaoli watched in awe as the massive chrysalis began to crack. Something powerful was awakening. Little Black stepped out, transformed. He was now a majestic wolfman, radiating sheer, primal dominance. Shaoli stood frozen in shock. Was this a beastly man or a divine wolf? The next morning, the beast carried the MC home. The farm residents watched in absolute disbelief. Unfazed, the sister brought him clothes. She treated the legendary beast like her favorite childhood plushie. She even climbed onto his head. Little Black could only sigh in silent, fluffy resignation. The system scanned him. A human-wolf hybrid. His evolutionary path now had zero limits. His stats would grow infinitely. The MC realized Little Black's previous rampages were just unstable evolutions. He had fled to protect them, seeking a way to stabilize his surging, monstrous power. After removing a bullet from the MC, a miracle occurred. He pulled out a divine carrot. One bite of the glowing vegetable was all it took. The farm's resources were truly god-tier. Within seconds, the wound vanished completely. Not a single scar remained, true medicine of the gods. In this era, every cell is a battlefield. DNA is constantly copying, splitting, and evolving. Old cells die, and new ones rise. But in this apocalypse, the copying process has changed. Stability is gone. A new gene has emerged to overwrite the old human blueprint. This is the birth of the mutated gene, the key to becoming a god or a monster. Some, like the MC and Little Black, evolve perfectly. They gain incredible new powers and abilities. But others become twisted abominations. They have raw strength, but their lifespans are tragically short. They are mere flickers of light before the void. Back at the hospital, the results were in. Bai's body convulsed violently. The Type 5 virus was rewriting his very existence in agony. Massive bone spikes erupted through his skin. He sat alone, a monster born from science. "A miracle," he whispered. He was the first human to stay sane after such an injection. "Success," the researchers cheered. "We can finally move to the next stage of the experiment." But the observers were terrified. Would he lose control like the beasts in the lab? Retracting his claws, Bai felt his chest. "I survived. But the mutation is still incomplete. Type 5 was a failure," he hissed. "I have the power, but my body is rotting." He was stronger and faster, yet his life force was leaking away like a broken vessel. "I have 7 days," he growled. "I must find the perfect mutant and steal its DNA." Once stabilized, Bai returned to his mansion. But a mysterious guest was already waiting for him. Young Master Bai boasts of his mastery in boxing and Muay Thai. Holding a level 65 gold dragon medal, his martial arts are lethal. His physical stats are 2.8 times beyond the human peak. No one should defeat him easily. That mysterious attacker was different. That beast-like man radiated the same aura as the perfect mutant wolf. They share a single source of power, explaining their strange connection. The encounter left a deep impression as he met his evening guest. A beautiful officer arrived, and the young master greeted her smoothly. She wanted his genetic samples for military research without any delay. Shedding his shirt, he showed his perfect state to the stunned officer. He agreed to provide his DNA, but only if they found someone. Handing over a single strand of hair, a secret deal was struck. Meanwhile, 𝑨𝒑𝒐𝒂𝒍𝒚𝒑𝒔𝒆 the system for new apocalyptic survival gear. Reaching farming level 4, he unlocked the divine 𝑨𝒑𝒂𝒍𝒚𝒑𝒔𝒆 fruit seeds. These fruits amplify positive genes while purging every single genetic defect. Realizing their worth, he knew these seeds were the key to evolution. This level 4 hybrid is the gateway to a new human era. If these create gods, then I am the god of all creation. But planting them is costly, requiring expensive soil upgrades for success. He spent 95,000 points to create elite, nutrient-rich black soil. This high-grade soil massively boosts the yield of advanced hybrid crops. He bought growth stimulants and agricultural robots to automate his kingdom. The system's instant delivery saved him both time and precious resources. Watching his robots work, Lee felt like the master of his domain. No more manual labor. But the second apocalypse is drawing near. Back with young Master Bai, money and power brought instant results. The report on the hair sample left him completely shocked and speechless. The target is 𝑨𝒑𝒐𝒂𝒍𝒚𝒑𝒔𝒆, a 26-year-old former university student. After his parents died, he took over their humble family farm. He lived as a simple farmer, far from the world of monsters. To everyone else, he was a nobody, a ghost in the system. DNA confirmed he was the thief, but his strength remained a mystery. Bai wondered how a commoner could possess such overwhelming combat power. No ordinary man should be able to match his elite strikes. His physical prowess was unnatural, far beyond years of human training. His style was alien, proving he wasn't just a hidden martial artist. The only truth is that he must be another perfect mutant. Their shared origin explains why he saved that mutant wolf beast. An organization capable of this is a threat to the entire world. Their power comes from a 1 in a billion viral mutation beyond science. Only a dozen perfect mutants exist globally, including the Beast Kings. Finding 2 in one city is a statistical impossibility of fate. Bai smirked with dark ambition, sensing a world-changing secret at play. A second key to evolution exists, and it is truly magnificent. Back at the farm, Lee applied his expensive serums to the crops. The mystical soil worked its magic as tiny sprouts surged toward the sky, growing visibly before my very eyes. But as I prepared dinner, Uncle Nam rushed out in a panic, shouting that Little Black was acting strange. The creature was perched on the roof, refusing to come down no matter the call, a stark contrast to his usual loyalty. Looking up at the shadows, I sensed the shift in the air. Little Black's instincts were screaming of an approaching threat. This was exactly like the first mutation. His primal senses were tingling, detecting a danger lurking in the dark. Was the perimeter patrol being breached? While I pondered the risks, my phone suddenly vibrated with a chilling alert. One message was all it took to drain the color from my face, leaving me paralyzed by the weight of the news. Without a word to my sister, I raced to the car burning rubber as I sped into the radioactive wasteland. Meanwhile, young Master Bai watched through his high-tech drones, spying on every corner of my hidden sanctuary. He could not believe his eyes. How could a tattered farm possess such advanced and mysterious reconnaissance technology? And how were crops thriving in radioactive soil? In a world where every green leaf was a harbinger of death, most plants carried the Tier 5 virus, a death sentence for any consumer, yet these fruits looked divine and pure. Instead of being charred, ruins the farm radiated a powerful aura, clearly nurtured by someone with god-like secrets. This was not just some humble garden, it felt like a hidden military fortress packed with unseen heavy weaponry. I have decoded the farm's layout. Bai sneered, we will use sonic pulses to shatter their defenses instantly. Lee is not here to protect his pet. We will capture that mutant beast alive. Move out and strike now. The moment I left, 3 military helicopters roared across the horizon, descending upon my home like hungry vultures. Finding no resistance, the soldiers began their descent, paratrooping directly into the heart of my private kingdom. But I was at my parents' graves, staring at the desecrated soil, where some monster had dared to dig them up. A vow of blood burned in my heart. I would find this scum and make them pay 1,000 times over. The message was a cruel ultimatum. Your parents' remains are in my hands. I know you have seen the truth. You have one day trade your holy beast and your own limbs or lose their legacy forever. I chuckled at the sheer stupidity. If my parents saw me trade my life for bones, they would be furious. The holy beast? They must mean Little Black, I realized as I stared into the darkening sky with rage. I typed back a cold response. What makes you think a box of dry bones can control my fate? Desecrate them if you wish, but I promise to drag you to hell so you can beg them for forgiveness. Bowing one last time, I knew the enemy was after my companion, aware of Little Black's legendary potential. Could it be that woman from the villa? No, even a greedy corporation would not sink this low for revenge. As I pondered the culprit, the system suddenly screamed. A warning: an invasion was currently underway at the farm. Modern weapons detected threat level 9. The farm was under siege by a lethal and organized force. Night fell like a heavy shroud as the army tightened their noose, surrounding my silent home with cold steel. But the house was empty. Little Black had already carried Ham leaping onto the roof in a blur. With her special eyes, my sister saw the darkness in their souls, recognizing the predators who came to steal. Without a hint of fear, Ham whispered to our guardian, "Turn every single one of them into fertilizer." The invaders threw flashbangs and breached the doors, storming the rooms with murderous intent, only to find nothing but shadows. As they prepared to retreat, bolts of pure energy rained down, tearing through the intruders without a shred of mercy. Only young Master Bai survived the initial blast, his mutant genes shielding him as he scrambled desperately for an exit. The rest of his troops were mere fodder, dropped like flies before they could scream, filling the courtyard with corpses. As Bai leaped through the window, he found his perimeter guard already dead, and there I was waiting. I greeted him with a chilling smile. "Did you really think you could break into my home and survive?" My legion of combat droids rose from the earth, surrounding the survivors, as I locked eyes with the mastermind. "So it is you again? First you tried to steal my pet, and now you bring an army?" Realizing there was no escape, the arrogant young master finally broke his pride, crumbling under the weight of my power. "I am a dying man anyway," he spat. "This failed raid just speeds up the inevitable end of my life. Death here is no different from a hospital bed. Let us see whose strength truly rules this ruined world." Men from the Thien Yuan Company, the killers of his kin, stood before them. Uncle Nam whispered a deadly urge. They shouldn't leave this place alive. Smirking, the main character posed one last, bone-chilling question to the intruder. "Where are my parents' remains?" Since it wasn't his doing, the young man stood there in total, bewildered silence. What remains? Their gazes locked in confusion. Meanwhile, at the cult's dark headquarters, a message sparked absolute fury. He smashed his phone, screaming in rage. What an unfilial son to abandon the very bones of his parents. Losing his mind, he stomped his pair-branded phone into pieces. His subordinates watched, trembling and unable to interfere. Amidst his screaming, a hauntingly gentle voice rose from the deep well in the center of the hall. "I crave dog meat. You are all pathetic trash who cannot even capture a single sacred beast for me." Hearing that terrifyingly familiar voice, the leader sprinted into her arms, weeping like a broken, frightened little child. "Little Thin is useless," he sobbed. "I couldn't bring the wolf cub you wanted. Please, mother, do not be angry. Don't abandon or strike me. I'll be obedient. I promise to bring you endless feasts from now on." He imagined a beautiful woman, but it was a twisted lie. The reality was a horror beyond human imagination. His mother was a grotesque demon of unknown origin. Back at the farm, the truth finally surfaced. Realizing the man wasn't the grave robber, Lai's killing intent faded. He was stunned the man was still breathing. Little Black's bite should have ended him. How was he still walking? This was a total medical impossibility. Lai scanned him instantly. Bai Jingyan, a human scholar undergoing a lethal, malicious evolution. A biological anomaly discovered. Stats: Strength 21, Intelligence 18, Speed 23. Remaining lifespan: only 118 hours. A dying man. He used a forced evolution to survive the fatal wound. But without stabilization, his own power would soon kill him. In 118 hours, the mutation would drag him to hell. His body was a ticking genetic bomb. Lai saw through him. Radiation caused the failed evolution, but Little Black's perfect genes were temporarily holding him together. His only hope was obtaining that perfect mutation. Lai spoke, his voice cold and filled with calculated authority. "Even if you didn't steal them, your life offers me no profit. Why should I ever let you go?" Desperate, Bai screamed for mercy. He promised to find the ashes of Lai's parents in exchange for his life. "We have no real grudge," he pleaded. "I only want survival, and you want your parents' sacred remains back. Why don't we make a deal?" It was a fair trade that would save Lai a massive amount of searching. Lai signaled his mechanical army to stand down. He tucked his hands into his pockets, looking deeply intrigued now. "Your resources alone aren't enough for this gene. I'd find that culprit eventually. But I am curious about you. You emphasize your own resources, not the company's. What is your true connection to the Thien Yuan killers?" Knowing Lai's hatred for the firm, Bai clarified his position. "I am not their puppet. I act for myself. I bear you no malice. The murders and the villa attacks were never my doing. I only want survival. I just need what I came for." Bai stepped forward, offering a hand in peace, hoping for a truce. Lai ignored the gesture with icy indifference. "Tell your subordinates to drop their weapons and surrender in the corner." He led him inside. When Bai saw Little Black's true form, his mind nearly short-circuited from the sheer shock. Seeing through his heart, the young girl noted the malice was gone. "Take what you need," Lai said casually. Staring at the human-shaped wolf, Bai was dazed. Would a sample even work on a being this divine? During mutation, Little Black fused with human genes. Ironically, those genes belong to you, making you compatible. These genes can halt your malicious decay. Bai marveled at the creature, calling it the most perfect mutation ever. Even high-level king beasts in the south become mindless monsters. They are driven only by a mad hunger. But this creature has its own consciousness and understands human speech perfectly. It is a true miracle. If I can unlock the secrets within its genetic code, I can mass-produce this legendary power for everyone. But Lai had no interest in his vague scientific projects. He only cared about the practical survival of his kingdom. The deal was set. A dying scholar and a farm owner, united by a desperate need for blood and bones. But would this alliance hold against the coming storm? The shadows of the cult were already closing in. Every choice in this apocalypse carries a price. And for Li, the price was his family's lost honor. The quest for the remains continued, led by a man whose life was measured in mere hours. All right, heir of the Li family, the tour is over. Now, let's get down to some real business. Li handed him his phone. Track this number. I want every call and signal from the last 10 days. Show me your true worth, or are you just all talk? He summoned his elite technical specialist immediately. Within minutes, a helicopter thundered overhead, dropping the expert hacker right onto the scene for the investigation. The pro, Lam Nin, took the brief and instantly began his digital assault, his fingers flying across the keys. Since they didn't understand tech, the two men stepped aside. Li asked why the man looked so strangely mutated. The man didn't hide the truth. You've clearly read my USB data. Your human evolution is much faster than mine. After the apocalypse began, my team found virus type 5 in radiated plants. This is the source of mutation. After the mutation began, my team found virus type 5 in radiated plants. This is the source of all horror. It causes mutations in those who ingest it. But through experiments, I discovered this virus triggers rapid cell division. It simultaneously increases the rate of horrific mutations, eventually creating a horde of bizarre monsters with very short lifespans. Driven only by hunger, they are failures. I used genetic data from Little Black to find some evolutionary inspiration. I won't deny my cruelty. History's biological breakthroughs have always been built upon cold-blooded human experimentation and data. Before I arrived, they forced Luong Thienvu to conduct these tests. It was a hellish, half-dead existence for them. Instead of letting subjects rot, I maximized their value before death. I even became my own test subject for science. Though I failed, the data was priceless. Science is built upon a mountain of bones to reach this height. Science has always been built upon the bleached bones of countless people to reach these legendary heights of evolution. While they spoke, the hacker found the SIM card's location and sent the data directly to Li's phone. Next morning at the cult headquarters, the sleepy guards were still groggy from their wild party last night. Li's mechanical hummingbirds struck like lightning. A single blow sent the first guard crashing hard to the ground. The other guard froze in shock before he too was hit by the drone's invisible sting. He fell instantly. From the rooftop, Li watched his tiny assassins. They were expensive, but they were certainly worth every single penny. He slipped inside to see what these evil cultists were doing. A cold chill ran down his entire spine. They were performing a demonic ritual, devouring a young woman. Li couldn't tolerate such a sickening, evil atrocity. Li immediately opened fire, taking one down. The other disciples scattered in a blind, terrified panic at the attack. "Who dares disturb this holy land?" the leader roared. Li stood on the roof, his gun leveled high. "It's your daddy, you freak. Are you still confused?" He ordered his hummingbirds to launch a total assault. Future tech bullets shredded the fanatics. Within seconds, the drones had cleared out the majority of the cultists. With the weaklings dealt with, Li landed gracefully. The cult leader collapsed in fear, unable to speak a word. Li pressed the gun to his head. "Where are my parents' remains?" "Tell me now, or you are dead." The leader remained stubborn. "Kill me, and you'll never find them. Go ahead and pull the trigger, if you dare. You think you're brave?" Suddenly, a fallen subordinate twitched and crawled back up. Something was very, very wrong. Li sensed a terrifying presence rising from behind him. A grotesque monster erupted from the corpse's mouth. It lunged at Li with primal speed and a terrifying hunger, tearing its host body completely apart. The beast fully emerged, and Li stared in disgust at the hideous creature. It was a nightmare incarnate. What kind of hellspawn is this? Before he could react, a second monster appeared, flanking him fast. 2 against 1. Li pulled out a second pistol, aiming directly for their armored, mutated, and hideous skulls. Clang! The bullets bounced off their shells. Standard weapons were useless against their evolution. He had to move. Li retreated to safety, checking his system for a legendary weapon. But he had spent all points on robots. He retreated swiftly to safety, frantically opening the system to search for a high-tier weapon upgrade. Although legendary items existed, his points were completely drained from purchasing robots. He was absolutely defenseless now. The pressure was suffocating. With no choice left, Li ordered his hummingbirds to launch a kamikaze attack. He needed to buy time to escape, but his drones were like mosquitoes biting steel. They remained unscarred. The beast sniffed the air for his scent. Suddenly, a massive tail smashed a stone pillar into dust. Thanks to his lightning reflexes, Li narrowly escaped, but the second beast unleashed a devastating, crushing shockwave. Before he could react, the impact sent him crashing through the wall as the predators closed in for the kill. Refusing to perish in this wasteland, Xiao Li summoned his last bit of strength and accessed his system's inventory. He consumed a legendary ancient tomato to heal. Seeing his struggle, the cult leader mockingly ordered his beasts to attack. Realizing he was outmatched, Xiao Li desperately scanned the crumbling ruins, searching for any possible path to escape. He spotted a small breach in the debris and dove through just as the two monsters lunged at him. The beasts were too massive to fit. They became wedged in the narrow gap, roaring in pure, helpless frustration. The leader cursed his stupid pets. Meanwhile, Xiao Li turned around only to find a group of captive beauties. These poor girls were bound in heavy chains, weeping in terror as the monsters' shadows loomed behind them. Seeing the beasts, the captives collapsed in despair. Xiao Li realized he had stumbled into the cult's secret warehouse. The room was overflowing with ancient treasures, gold, and most importantly, rare food supplies for the apocalypse. His eyes caught a shimmering blade resting atop a stone statue. Xiao Li leaped forward to claim the relic. After confirming there were no traps, he gripped the hilt. The system identified it as a high-grade legendary sword. With his new weapon in hand, Xiao Li turned back toward the trapped monsters, his fear replaced by resolve. The beasts were now sitting ducks. However, despite the blade's sharpness, their thick hides barely took any real damage. Infuriated by the constant stinging strikes, the monsters shattered the wall and charged at our hero with primal rage. Knowing a direct clash was suicide, Xiao Li retreated into a wider space to prepare his next strategic move. He suddenly pivoted and unleashed a powerful strike. He had to test the true limits of this shimmering blade. The results were frustrating. The sword only left shallow cuts on their armored skin, failing to draw serious blood. The monsters retaliated with razor claws and spiked tails, attacking with a speed that left Xiao Li completely overwhelmed. A crushing blow sent him flying into the stone pillars. Dust filled the air as he lay heavily injured. Battered and gasping for air, he realized brute force was useless. He needed to find their one fatal weakness. His eyes narrowed, analyzing their twisted movements. He searched for the gap in their seemingly invincible biological armor. There. Xiao Li focused all his energy into one desperate lunge, driving his blade straight into the monster's mouth. The steel pierced through the throat and into the brain. The creature let out a final, bone-chilling death rattle. With a brutal twist, he cleaved its head in two. One down, but the second predator was already approaching. Despite his exhaustion, he couldn't stop now. The remaining beast moved in, its eyes burning with vengeful fury. Using his newfound experience, Xiao Li executed a perfect strike, sending the second monster straight to the afterlife. Seeing his ultimate weapons slaughtered, the cult leader turned tail and tried to flee the scene in total panic. He didn't get far. Xiao Li was a shadow behind him, pressing a cold blade against his trembling throat. "Impossible," he screamed. "Their hides are bulletproof. My masters will never forgive you for this, you brat." Still barking while facing death? Xiao Li tightened his grip. "If I can kill monsters, your masters are nothing." Just as he prepared to deliver justice, the sound of heavy gunfire and military engines echoed through the cathedral. The army had arrived, surrounding the facility. Xiao Li was now trapped between the soldiers and the cult's remnants. Will our hero escape and return to his super farm? Stay tuned for the next epic chapter, everyone. Until next time,